Richest people media tycoon Alexander Lebedev says he's selling off most of his multi-billion-dollar empire to pursue a political career. The businessman and owner of the UK's independent newspaper says he'll join Prime Minister Putin's Popular Front. So let's get more details from Primetime's Lindsay France on this. Lindsay, good evening to you. Could you please give us some details on why he's doing all this?
Well, he has long since cited corruption as a good reason to get out of banking, but really a lot of his actions toward getting actively into policy making began after Prime Minister Vladimir Putin made an announcement on May 6th of forming the All-Russia Popular Front. Now, this front is sort of an agreement between the social side of things, which would be NGOs, youth groups and trade unions, and the currently ruling United Russia Party to widen the social base, the voter base. And that is really when Mr. Lebedev decided to join up and actively sort of leave banking behind and join up with policymaking. Now, since then, he has written letters to the director of the FSB, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, and many other people stating his intent to root out corruption in this country. And now he spoke with us today and told us a little bit more about his reasons for doing this.
I think it's a dispute inside the front, because I think United Russia as the party wants to control everything. Now Putin wants to broaden his social base. And I'm, of course, looking at joining not United Russia, but the other part of that. But there's something specific, say affordable mass individual houses construction, anti-corruption sort of investigations. And I think probably within a 10 days' time, I will come up with a much bigger letter than I've posted to the head of FSB and last week. Just putting all of that together into one package.
Okay, Lindsay, the man sort of wants to move away out of banking because he's really unhappy with corruption. You've already mentioned that. When you were talking to him, what was his opinion on how far did Russia actually move in its pursuit to fight corruption in the country?
Well, Anya, he definitely cited the fact that the efforts have been made. The talks have been had. The legislation has been put through to catch corruption, but he still says that Russia has got a long way to go. Let's listen.
I think both Medvedev and Putin has been improving, let's say, the infrastructural side. Sometimes legislation, sometimes actually the declarations for the bureaucracy are a good thing. But in reality, I don't think it has diminished the corruption to the extent we will be looking for. And if you open Novaya Gazeta today about so-called government procurements, which still are a very non-transparent procedure, and with a lot of so-called однодневки, which are companies built specifically for a fraud. So this is a huge, really, task.
Not too optimistic. Did he say what his thoughts were on how United Russia might go about winning the election?
Well, one of the things he pointed out was a way to keep power is to warm the hearts of a large voter base. And a huge part of that population sits in traffic in Moscow every single day. And so he had something to say about those world-famous migalkis. Let's listen to what he told us about that.
I would finally get rid of the so-called special signals on cars, the migalki stuff, just leaving them to the president and prime minister. They've tried it once. I do remember some of them on the TV taking it off their cars. Then somehow they get it back, which I think is hypocrisy. If you want really to win the election in a proper way, you do things which change the people's lives rather than go after your own private privileges.
Now, he also said, among other plans, are to unite the Independent and one of the leading opposition newspaper here, Novaya Gazeta, publishing them in both languages for people to read, and also using some radio frequencies he owns for Russian BBC. The BBC has not been able to afford to continue broadcasting here, so he will offer up his radio frequencies for that, as well as Svoboda Radio, or Radio Svoboda, if you're Russian. So then offering talk shows broadcasting here. So those are two new projects he's also going for, as well as joining up with Prime Minister Vladimir Putin's new project.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving into politics steadily, there we see tycoon Alexander Lebedev. We're talking to our correspondent Lindsay France. Thank you so much for bringing us all those details.